I wasn't sure what I was gonna film today because nothing really was happening for a vlog. I decided I couldn't do a vlog, and then I was like, what are videos you guys have been asking me to film? And I figured one of the most common ones is, of course, about the Lotus. And it is, why did I actually buy this car? So what I'm gonna do now is I can't speak. I'm gonna pull it out of the garage. As you can tell, the Porsche's in hibernation next to it. I'm gonna pull this out of the garage, somehow past these cars, and gonna go for a little cruise and talk to you about why I bought this specific Lotus Elise Club Racer. Alright, let's get a move on, shall we? It's cold, so I'm going to put the heating on for now. It does have one thing, which is an aluminium gear shifter knob thing and an aluminium handbrake lever, and those, when it's the morning and it's cold like it is today, they get pretty freezing, if I'm honest. The cabin's warmed up a bit now, so I can talk to you without there being too much sort of heating noise. So this video is called Why I Bought the Lotus Elise Club Racer. And first of all, I felt like I didn't want to do this as soon as I got the car, which is why I made a few other videos in the meantime, because I felt like I needed to really figure out, by using this car, exactly why the reasons I bought it, and exactly whether those were the right reasons and whether they were right. So now that I've put how many? Got about 1,100 kilometers on this car already. Whoa, I didn't realize I put that many, but yes. I mean, I guess I did drive it all the way down from Lyon down to Monaco, and that's about 500 kilometers right there. But anyways, that's unimportant. I've been wanting to get a car for myself here in the south of France for quite a while now. Obviously, I'm only 19, and I got my driving license when I was 18, so it hasn't been that long that I've been able to. And as soon as I got my driving license, I got it in London because I was going to boarding school in the UK. Afterwards, I went straight to university. So I went straight to university, and I was like, well, there's no real point in me getting another car other than the Twizy, because I had the Twizy in Monaco, which I used just to get around town. At uni, I didn't need a car. I was on like a small campus university. And here, if I had the Twizy, it just seemed ridiculous to spend like the money I've been working for years for to save up. Like literally every penny has been for a car, to then just spend it on a car I would never use. So that's why I didn't get one straight away. Then I quit university, and that seemed like kind of the right time to do it. But then I straight away got invited onto the Schmee tour and to do Gumball, and for all of those I couldn't take my own car. So I sort of did those, and in my mind I was like, oh, once these are done, I'll get my own car, I'll figure it out, And then I went to LA, and I ended up loving LA. So I ended up staying in LA, and was in LA for 4 months. So as you guys may have seen, I had the Porsche 991 there. Long story behind that car, I won't bore you with that. Then I came back to Europe, and it sort of hadn't even crossed my mind, because I just, spent so much time with the Porsche, and I came back here. But it was on the trip that I did with Tim, Schmee 150, Sam, Seen Through Glass, and Paul, Supercars of London, down from the UK to my house here in Monaco, where I decided that I needed a car. I was like, okay, that's it. Now you lads will have your fun. I need to be able to get myself something. So that's when I really was like, okay, I'm gonna start looking for it seriously. I'm staying in the south of France for a little while now. There are no real big travels planned, so it makes sense for me to get a car now. And if ever I do travel, and if it's around Europe, I might as well just take the car with me. So then, once I decided I was gonna get a car, and I decided on a budget, which obviously I'm 19, I bought myself this car. I couldn't have a huge budget. It was sort of everything I'd made I was putting into this car. Then I was like, I want to make it worthwhile. I didn't want to get something boring like a little family car or whatever. I wanted it to be something sporty. And within the budget, there aren't that many choices. So you guys helped me make the decision, of course. There was the whole BMW M3, Audi RS3 question. But the reason I went for the Lotus is pretty simple, because to me, it feels just like the most special car. I don't drive this every day. Obviously, I have the Mercedes C-Class, and I'm in such a fortunate situation where I actually have other cars which I could use every day. So I thought, I'm gonna get something. I really don't mind if it's hardcore. In fact, I kind of like that, because every time I get into this car, it just feels like an event. It feels special, and every time you drive it hard and you get away with it and you feel like you've driven it really well, it just makes you feel manly and like you've achieved something. It's not just like I was pootling around in some little danty car. That's one of the main reasons why I went for the Lotus as well, just because it seemed like the most sort of unique one of the cars that I was looking at. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do these videos whilst driving. So yes, so then once I decided I wanted something a bit unique, the only choice that really seemed logical was this, the Elise. And then once I decided I wanted a Lotus, and particularly an Elise, I didn't really know the different options that there were. You know, I didn't know there was this, a club racer, and I didn't know that there was a supercharged and all that. Why did I go for the club racer? A few reasons. One, it's not very expensive. Two, they're not too common, they're pretty rare, which I quite like. Caught up in traffic now. And you don't see many Elise club races. Three, they don't have that much power, and that was sort of my thinking behind getting an Elise as well. I was like, I could get something with huge power, but then I'm gonna spend so much money on insurance because I'm 19. I didn't really want to do that. I'd rather spend it on the car, and also like I don't need to get cocky. I'm 19. I don't have that much driving experience. Like, it's not a good idea for me to have too much power under my right foot. So I felt like an Elise was the perfect compromise there, where I had all the fun and the speed I needed without having sort of dangerous amounts of power. Then I just find that there's something cool about the Lotuses. Like, when you have a Lotus, it's a real driver's car. And I know everyone says that, and you watch these videos, and if you haven't driven one, you're like, no, the interior's kind of shitty, they don't look that special, they look tiny. First of all, when you see them in real life, I was impressed. The first time I saw this car, I was like, whoa, that looks cool. So that was one of the first things. In real life, they look so much more beastly and low down and wide than they do sort of in videos. And then if you are lucky enough to drive one, then you'll get it, because these things are unreal to drive. There's something about it where you're not just, even when you're driving on these little roads, you feel like you're getting 100% out of the car, because you need to rev it out, you need to be able to get your gear shifts right, you need to place the car perfectly, and it'll allow you to do all those things. It's giving you all the right ingredients, sort of saying, here you go, I'm doing my part, now you need to do your part. So when you do your part properly, it is so satisfying, and there's just, and you feel like you're getting the most out of the road you're driving, and you're definitely getting the most out of the car that you're driving. It's so flat round the corners, like there is literally no body roll. As much as I can feel being not that experienced of a driver, there just is none, and the grip is crazy. So there are certain corners, I know in the FF, because we had the FF here for a while, you can get these huge speeds in the straightaway, but then you need to slow down in the corners, whereas here it's sort of the other way around, where you'll take the corners at just like shocking speeds, but then in the straightaway you won't go too fast. And it's kind of nice that way around, because you feel like you probably have to work to get your way up the hill quickly. I know I'm just completely rambling. There is literally no order to this video. I just felt like I should speak to you about the different reasons why I got this car. Obviously the way it looks, this particular one, that had a big impact on me getting this car, because I think this one looks fantastic. I mean, the Elise, I decided as soon as I was getting an Elise, I was like, I want the latest facelifted model, because I just much prefer the way this one looks to the one with the two front lights. As soon as I decided on that, and then I decided on the Club Racer, I started looking around, and I found this matte black one. When I started looking into it, I found out there are only 3 in the country, and this was the only one apparently with these particular matte black forged rims. And me being a total car limited edition nerd, having that sort of individuality and exclusivity to this car made me just want it even more. And then when I went to see it and I drove it and I saw A, how good this thing was to drive, and B, also how much attention this gets. Like, this gets a lot of attention around town. When we convoy with this and the Porsche, the RS, like, most people don't even care about the RS behind, they're just looking at this car. Whereas if they knew the value of that bad boy, they would not give a shit about this car. So the Club Racer, the main difference with the Club Racer, by the way, I know I touched upon this earlier, but might as well finish the conversation, is that it's just a bit more hardcore. It's sort of like the difference between a GT3 and a GT3 RS Porsche, I guess, to some extent. Like, you've got new seats, you don't get a radio, well, you can get a radio, but you have to sort of tick the box to get a radio. The AC, all those things. Then there's less sound deadening. Speed bump. There's less sound deadening than in the normal car. And therefore, it's a bit lighter. In conclusion, I got this car, A, because I love the way it drives, I love the way it looks, insurance-wise, it was great. The price is really not that bad. And then, there are a few things that bug me with it, which aren't ideal. I mean, the exhaust being one of them, because it's not the loudest car in the world. And that's sort of the only thing missing from the experience, because it's low, it looks cool, it's got all of the sort of real sports car / supercar attributes to it, apart from the noise. And so that's one thing that slightly annoys me, but thankfully that's something that can be changed, and I am working on that. I keep getting asked which exhaust I'm going to put on it, and I wish I could tell you. I wish I knew myself. I am looking for the best one, so if you guys know of any exhaust or exhaust companies and have any advice for me, please let me know. I hope this video has made some sort of sense. The bottom line is that within this price range, this was the car that I preferred, that made me feel the most special, and that I think sort of stands out the most and feels the most like a sports car for those special occasions. And I could not be happier with it. It's delivered everything I've wanted it to deliver, apart from the noise, obviously, but that will, you know, as I said, that will be happening. The way people look at it, the way it drives, just every time I get in this car, I think, yes, I made the right decision. So I imagine I'll be keeping this car for a little while, and having my own car here and being able to have gotten my own sports car has been a dream of mine since I was like 8 years old. So being able to do it is the most amazing feeling ever. You know, being able to take my family out for rides and all these things, like, it's literally my baby, and I'm so proud of this car. And I'm just glad that I got it and I didn't hate it, because that would have been horrible. But I absolutely love it instead. All positive from my end. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back with another one very soon, as per usual. Please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye! What's your name?
Chloe!
What's my name? Oh, Sam! So we're filming a Would You... No, oh my god.
Evening!
Explain most likely to.
You'll say like most likely to, blank, and then we will hold up our signs and tell you who we think is most likely to do whatever that person has asked.
My sign, mine are like... This is really confusing.
No, this way?
This way.
Okay, hold it.
That
and
way.
then you flip it.
There we go.
Flip.
Ah!